Today, SMC Online presents John Jewell, the man behind the podcast, as he shares his insights on being creative and innovative and answers questions that have never been asked before. This episode will focus on how businesses can use a podcast to improve their creativity and productivity. Before we dive into today's podcast, let's take a quick moment to highlight an exciting solution to some of life's most common problems. One of our partners asked, "Is your computer stuck on stupid? Is it saying and doing things that make you want to slap it?" Call Al, the country computer guy. Al is college grad and knows all the vernacular, but he won't bore you with that technical stuff. He's here to help you with all your computer needs, from fixing viruses to setting up your home network. AL, not AI, but he can say some stupid stuff for her if you want. 555-113-22222. So, John, what inspired you to start podcasting? Well, I was inspired to start podcasting by my professor at SMC, who once told me I have a gift for gab. I'm not sure if that was a compliment or a warning to not talk in class. But I decided to take it as a compliment and start my broadcast. What are some of the goals for your podcast in the future? One goal for my podcast is to inspire others to be creative and innovative and give some insight into the questions that haven't been asked anywhere else. Such as? For example, a podcast can be a place for people to hear the backstory on almost anything in the news. But podcasts are not exclusive to any certain format. They can be about anything that turns you on, man. And it really doesn't matter if anyone else even listens to it. Because a podcast can also be a form of a personal blog through this journey of life, if you will. Alone in one's thoughts and ideas for the future revelations of men. Remind me, I'm listening to SMC Online for the students, by the students. What is the popularity rating for podcasting versus new alternatives? Oh, well, podcasting is still by far the most popular way to consume on-demand online audio in content. 2023 alone. 43% of Americans say they have listened to a podcast or bought a podcast or participated in a podcast in the last month, according to Edison Research. However, new alternatives to podcasting are emerging, such as audiobooks, social audio platforms, and live audio streaming. I'll give you a little rough sketch. The podcast's popularity ratings are about 43% as of 2023, and audiobooks are approximately 28%, so filling up the rest would be social audio platforms at 23%, live audio streaming at 19%, and that kind of sums it all up. However, there's an interesting comparison of audiences that don't exactly reflect the global mindedness of the internet at large, because a podcast can be global and come from a global perspective, but it can take action at a local level, whereas it can take the time to bring in the local businessmen who can use the platform to express their voices, as well as support the podcast by advertising. Things such as audiobooks could be advertised during a podcast in a creative and innovative way to mix the two mediums. And more mergers like that in the future will be happening. You can count on it. especially when live audio streaming people can become overnight successes, here today and gone tomorrow. Yet their loyal audiences could, however, stream with them for years to come in their podcasting or in other areas such as audiobooks. Anyway, it's all interesting. What do you think? You've been listening to SMC Online with this week's guest, John Jewell, the man behind the podcast, as he shares his insights on being creative and innovative and answers questions that have never been asked before. I'm John Anderson, SMC Poet Emeritus, your host on SMC Podcasts. Thank you for listening.